All right, everybody, welcome back to the Colin Thompson Show presented by Not For Long Media. We have a special guest today, as always, friend of the show, the man who texts everyone back right away, even though he's the busiest man in the world, Adam Schefter. How are we doing today?
Hello there, Colin. How you doing? Right?
Doing great, man. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Sure, my pleasure.
So you had the pink eye flight, not the red eye flight,
Yeah,
as Steve Young would say.
yeah. Short little flight from Arizona to New York, and it's an abbreviated red eye. So that's what Steve Young calls it. He calls it a pink eye, and I think that's a pretty good description for it because you do feel it the next day. That's for sure.
I know, man. I appreciate you coming on here. You're a warrior. Last night, you're in Arizona for a big Patriots win.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you about Steve Young. And I was watching the show. Like, what's he like? He's a huge personality. He was a great player. He's bold. I've seen him say, no, I completely disagree about that. I love that because I feel like a lot of people just kind of roll the punches because A, you're on a shot clock. It's TV.
Yeah.
B, it's sometimes not the best thing. But he'll call people out. I think he's awesome on TV.
I think Steve's the leading voice on Monday Night Countdown. I just think he's the guy that we turn to for wisdom and guidance. He is the best player on that set. He, to me, is incredibly intelligent, articulate, insightful. I could listen to him talk about anything and feel smarter for it. And as a guy, he's a great guy. I love him. I mean, he was a great player. He's a great broadcaster. He's a great person. He's got it all going on. He's a little fly by the seat of his pants. Like he'll just show up right. Like yesterday, I noticed we're going on air. He's still doing his tie. It's 5:58 Eastern. It's, that kind of thing. You never know when he's going to get to the set. But
Love that.
But he's aces. I love that guy.
What's he like in a personal, like, what's he talk about? He talk about his hobbies. Is he like a travel? What's he do?
Well, he works on the side in the financial world and has a lot of different projects like that. And I haven't gotten too in depth with him about it, but I know that he's traveled the world and he's friendly and does business with some incredibly intelligent people out in Northern California. Steve's a very, very, very smart guy. Very smart guy.
He's involved in a lot of things. He's involved in a lot of things. So I appreciate you talking about him. I was just curious. So another smart man, he passed away of late, and that was last night or this morning. It was Mike Leach. I've had a couple interactions with him, but nothing personal. Just seeing him in different places around the country. And when he's on vacation, I'm on vacation down in Key West, Florida. So have you had interactions with Coach Leach?
I think I may have met him once back in the day. I think one summer, if my memory serves me correct, he may have come to Broncos training camp when I covered the team. But I've never had any meaningful interaction with him to where I could form an opinion other than I see what the outside world does, the public does. He was a great man who meant so much to the game, who had so many ideas, who gave so much, and certainly didn't look like he took himself very seriously. And obviously a huge loss, and my condolences to his friends, his family, and to the Mississippi State University and football program.
Yeah, that is extremely tough. A great man, extremely smart. I've heard plenty of stories where he would take practice script down on a napkin at lunch with the coaches, and it was just like his offense was just that's who it was. Frankie Louvu, who's our linebacker here, and he's having a great career with the Jets. Formerly, Frank played for him at Washington State and just said he was the best, most genuine. He said he didn't really care much about defense. So Frank said he didn't bother us too much and kind of just let us go. He'd let us go over there and do our thing. So he was appreciated. So I guess take me into this travel this weekend for you, because you're doing all the TV hits, you're doing the live hits, you're all over the place. And so take me in from like your beginning of the week to the end of the week. Is there even an end of the week for you?
Well, it's sort of like anybody who's involved in the sport. They all have their rhythm and routine, right? Everything you do leads up to Sunday. You play the game, and then you start the routine over again, right, Colin? Like that's what it is, correct?
Yep, 100%.
So it's no different for a broadcaster, except we're not physically punishing our bodies, right? Like, I mean, I don't know what you consider the end of the week. I guess honestly, I consider the end of the week after halftime on Monday Night Countdown. We'll do the pregame show on Monday Night Countdown, 2 hours. Me, Booger, McFarland, Susie Culver, we do the halftime show. It's just short a little bit. It's not much of anything. But we finish up our little 2-minute hit, whatever it may be, and then you head home. And so, to me, after Monday Night Football ends, that's really the start of the week. Now, as you mentioned last night, I took the pink eye, so I'm working on a couple hours sleep right now. It is what it is, and so today's honestly like a day where you just kind of, decompress a little bit. My wife and I on Tuesdays have watched White Lotus on Tuesday nights because she can't watch it on Sunday, so we'll watch the final season finale tonight at some point. I'll probably pass out by about 9:30. So, and then tomorrow, TV, Sports Center, radio stuff. Same with Thursday, Friday. You're gearing up towards Sunday and getting ready for the show. Same with Saturday, Sunday morning, go and do Sunday countdown, do that show, travel off to the side of Monday Night Football. This week it'll be Green Bay. So it just, it just keeps going. 20 weeks of that, right? Every single day.
The NFL is a machine now. I mean, it's changed so much during your career. Now, this time of year, you're looking at football.
Colin, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
You're good. Absolutely.
Okay. One of my dogs is lost here, so I apologize. My daughter comes in. She's alerted me that one of the dogs is lost, which I'm sure he'll show up at some point. But
what advice did you give to that, Dad?
I said right now I'm on a podcast. I'll help you as soon as I'm done. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. I just giving advice for dads around the world.
Yeah, I know. Colin, I don't know this, but I have a strong sense that the dog is somewhere in the house. Like, it can wait. And if he's not, then I've made a tragic, catastrophic mistake here.
Yes, you did, Dad. Yes, you did. Okay. So I digress. Just in your career, right? The general question, how's football changed? Well, how about just the schedule change? Because now this time of year, this is when the real fun begins. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. When did the Saturday football playoff games start to come into effect during your career?
I think they've always been there. I mean,
I guess it was always after college football season.
Yeah. The league has always done that on Saturdays. And now they give ESPN that doubleheader on Saturdays. That's semi new. In the last week of the season, I think one of the games may be on ABC. I don't even know, but that's always been a part. Like the league wants as much of the football calendar as it can get, and so as soon as college football vacates that space, the league is only too happy to move in and spread out. Like literally, from last night in Arizona, I did the math. There's football, NFL football, on 5 of the next 8 days. 5 of the next 8. It was last Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 5 of the 8 days are filled with some type of NFL contest, sometimes multiple NFL contests.
The growth of the league is just tremendous. It's great to be a part of it. I'm trying to make it last as long as I can as a player.
Yep.
How do you see it moving overseas? Because obviously they had a lot of success this year. There's all the talk about Germany.
Well, I think, the league has done a great job of growing the game and its popularity inside the United States. And so it's looking for other ways to grow its revenue. And what's the obvious way to do that? That's to go into Mexico, going to Germany, going to England, going to anywhere overseas, Canada, whatever it may be, and make and convert more NFL fans there. So, I think the league will continue to do those sorts of things and continue to expand the game and try to grow the game globally, not just domestically.
Surprise team in the league for you this year that's really just kind of said, you know what, wow, I'm really impressed how they turned things around, or they exceeded expectations in your book?
Well, I think you'd look at the two teams that square off Sunday, the Jets and the Lions. Both are in the playoff race. Both haven't been there before. I said on my podcast today that if we had come up with the schedule in May and you had said on Monday Night Football, would you rather have the Jets and Lions in Week 15 or the Packers and Rams? You'd say, well, we'd rather have the Packers and Rams. And to me, there may not be a more attractive matchup this weekend than the Jets and the Lions. So that should tell you something about how far each of those teams has come this season. Credit to both those organizations.
Yeah, two head coaches that are, polarizing guys. One's a little bit, polarizing more than the other, I should say, and that's Dan Campbell. Any Dan Campbell stories?
Well, I don't have to tell any of them because everybody's seen it up close and personal on Hard Knocks all summer,
Yep.
right? And the truth of the matter is people have always gravitated towards him and been impressed by him and respect him. And it's nice to see that he's winning and not getting ripped and not getting criticized. And people are, you don't win in this league. People call for your job. And so it's great to see the Lions bouncing back and winning and quieting any of that sort of noise that's been out there in the past.
Speaking of quieting noise, how about your Michigan Wolverines? What are your thoughts on coach and the team?
Well, it's it's encouraging to watch. I happened to be at Michigan last spring for my son's graduation, and I spent a little bit of time with Jim Harbaugh, and I thanked him on behalf of all the people who went to school there for all the happiness he brought to so many people last November when they beat Ohio State for the first time in forever. And I told him how great it was to see, and it was just a tremendous moment for so many people who went to Michigan, and it made so many people so happy. And I didn't remember he said this to me, but the team photographer was there, and he pointed it out to me this year. He said, "Do you remember when he said to you at that point in time, well, wait till we do it in Columbus?" And I hadn't remembered that. When he said that, I was like, oh, he did say that. That's right. And sure enough, he was right, because I think if you spoke to all the Michigan fans and said, as much as you enjoyed the win over Ohio State in November of 2021, how would you compare it to the victory at Ohio State in November of 2022? I think people would say this year meant as much and was as memorable as last year.
Tremendous stuff. They're a fun team to watch. I remember talking to Mike Schofield saying, Mike, you don't want to fire the guy. To me, I think people fire everyone a little too quick in this sport.
Well, Colin, let me say this. I feel like I was a man on an island because all my friends were calling for Jim Harbaugh to be fired. And I would do radio show, and every show I did, what do you think of Harbaugh? And I said, well, who do you want to get that's better?
That's
who
exactly my
cares
point.
about that program more than he does? Who understands this more than he does? Nobody. And people wanted him gone. And, you could argue that the job he's done the last couple of years is as good as any coach in all of college football.
You see him moving to the NFL?
Oh, he said he's not. So I'm going to take him at his word.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I talk to a lot of, in the locker room, I talk to friends, family, and I just see it going to be another crazy offseason in the NFL. I know we're still in the season, right?
Colin, to tell me something I don't know, when is it not a crazy? Like if you said to me, this is not going to be a crazy offseason, I would say, really? Like what makes you say that? Okay. I operate under the assumption that every offseason is going to be crazy because every offseason is. And every offseason we go through it, and every offseason it gets crazy. And every offseason people say, isn't that the craziest offseason you've ever seen? No, because last offseason was crazy, and the one before that was crazy, and the one before that was crazy. And there's always something about the sport that makes it incredibly popular in the offseason. So to me, like the regular season is just a warm-up to the real regular season for me.
Yeah. Regular season for you and pays your bills too, how crazy it is, right? That's what makes you good at your job. Now, I'm just interested to see this quarterback movement, of course, but I'm not even going to say names, and we kind of all know where that's going to go. Different organizations, the blue bloods, like are people going to move on and pull triggers, and people going to lose their job, even if these blue blood teams, like the real strong names in the NFL, that curious me. I'm interested to see how things are going to end up, in San Fran. Obviously with Cmac, him and I are really close. So I'm really watching that team. How impressed, were you with him? I mean, and you know him personally, you've covered him, you know him as a kid, but I would assume you expect nothing less than what he's done with the Niners.
I remember texting him the morning of the trade. I said, you're going to be a 49er. In fact, his mother texted me and was like, should I cancel my flights to Carolina this weekend? And I said, yes, do not get in a flight to Carolina. He got traded on Thursday night. Lisa and I were texting that morning, and I said, you're making a mistake if you book that flight. Don't waste your money like that. They did not book the flight. He got traded, and he's been a huge asset for that team. He's an unbelievable player, and he fits that offense really well. I mean, that offense is great for him, and he's great for that offense, and they complement each other. It's tremendous to see, and I'm happy for him that he's getting a chance to play in that environment and win and do the things he's doing like that right now.
Yeah, he's healthy. He's happy. I'm looking the things they're going to do next year when he's got a full off season to get a hold of the offense and Coach Shanahan to get him involved in it. Pretty interesting stuff. There's a lot of topics around Carolina. I have to talk about Baker Mayfield, another just stud person I've been able to get to know. I was the least shocked human in the world the other night by all that. Once you get to know Baker, see how Baker operates, know how smart he is, all the offenses he's played in over the years. Not the chip on the shoulder, I call it the boulder on the shoulder that he walks around with. I was not shocked the other night. What say you?
Well, I mean, I was not surprised to see him play. I knew he'd be playing. I actually thought he would start. The Rams had a conversation before the game about why they shouldn't start with him, and I think they went with John Wolford just because that was the right thing to do, but he played 3 plays and Baker came in and played the rest of the game. Yeah. So he lit it up, did really well. I'm excited to watch him on Monday night in Green Bay. And, it's a chance for him to be, I guess, in a more stable environment, frankly. Someplace that has been very successful, and let's see what he could do there. And I hope for his sake he succeeds. It was great to watch him last Thursday night on Thursday Night Football. Provided a little bit of juice for the Monday night matchup this week. And I too like Baker as a quarterback.
Yeah, I do. He's a great dude. I've absolutely loved him, Sam, and PJ. It was like, and all how close friends they are. The outside world, of course, right? And Baker and they're all competitive, but as you know, everyone's friends in this league. But they were really close and so supportive of each other, like uniquely above and beyond. Just making sure each one of them had success, and all 3 of them had success in Carolina Panther uniforms this year, which is just crazy.
Exactly.
That's been crazy. It's been a crazy year for us here in Carolina. No shocker. Well, I shouldn't say a shocker, but that's not a hot topic either. So, Adam, as we wrap things up, how do you see this thing unfolded in the NFC? Eagles, they're just rolling. I'm a Philly kid. Love the roster.
Yeah.
I told people behind closed doors, Philly and Minnesota, I think had the most unique rosters in the NFC. Niners too.
I think the Carolina Panthers are a big threat to make a big move here, Colin, down the stretch.
I believe it, but people think I'm freaking crazy. I've said it the whole time. Why not? The team has got a great defense. We have an offensive line that's, I think, one of the best, if not the best in the league. We have a running game that features all 3 running backs. DJ Moore getting healthy, the top receivers in the league. Sam Darnold's absolutely lighting it up. So I'm a Panthers guy, man. I really am.
Listen, you guys have done a great job this year. You stayed in it. You hung tough. No one's pulled away with the division, right? And now you got a chance here in the final few weeks to see if you could win the division.
Does Mahomes repeat this year?
Him or Jalen Hurts will be the MVP. And honestly, I think it'll be depending on who finishes strongest down the stretch. One of the guys will have a real run here in the final 4 weeks. And I think whoever does, they'll have the inside track and the most valuable player award.
The one thing I didn't understand, especially someone who's involved with the Philly media market that I've listened to a lot of it, grew up listening to you, joining all the shows there. Really was interesting to me. Like people thinking that Hurts wouldn't figure it out and get better, right? Is he the answer? The guy's the answer because the guy is an absolute workhorse. Every single year of his career, he's gotten better, better, and better. I never understood that hate this offseason.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say that, but you still don't know how he's going to fare. Like, I mean, he improved from a quarterback who played well last year. Not great, not poorly, well. But certainly left people wondering whether Philadelphia would make a move at quarterback to where he's now one of 2 MVP candidates with Patrick Mahomes.
I think the people around him help him with that too. Second year in the offense, right? That's where I was just like, 1 + 1 = 2 here. Get a top receiver, help them out. Their receiver room is extremely deep. Their team's great. I just admire how the team's built. I really do.
It's a it's a really strong, deep, well-balanced, well-rounded, talented roster. But again, it comes back to that quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. And because he's developed the way he has, they have a chance to make some real noise in the postseason this year if they can get past the Carolina Panthers.
Damn right. Damn right. I had a
There
weird
you go.
dream. I've had weird dreams about scoring in Philly for the Panthers. I got to first off get on the active roster. That's a whole nother discussion, but I've had some weird dreams about it. Your Carolina Panthers hopefully will be hosting a playoff game in a little bit. Adam Schefter will be hosting White Lotus tonight at the house. Is that the only show? Is that the show in the Schefter house right now? Or are you binge watching anything else?
That's the show. That's the show. And we love that one. It's our favorite. And it's a great show. I'm fired up to watch the last one tonight, Colin.
Really quick, again, something just popped in my head, and I got to get your thoughts on it. I never really had anybody talk about John Madden, and that's probably a fault on me. And I know it's a big topic. We don't need to talk forever on. I know you got to run, but a word, a thought, a story on John.
Well, let me say this: that he was a legend of the game, and he meant so much to the sport. And you could make the argument that he meant as much to the sport as anybody who's come along in the last 50 or so years between coaching, broadcasting, development of video games. Like, incredible. I had the great honor and privilege to work with him and Al Michaels doing a couple of games with them in the preseason at a time where some of their crew was at the Olympics for NBC. And the first time that Al Michaels and John Madden threw to me on the sideline, the adrenaline in my body was raging. And we went to dinner the night before, and he took me on the Madden Cruiser. I mean, one of the more memorable situations in my career because you don't interact with a true icon and legend like that very often. And so the fact that I had the chance to do that a couple of different times is a privilege, an honor. And like I said, he would be, to me, in the Mount Rushmore of football figures if you were creating it. That's how impactful he's been on the game.
Yeah, unbelievable to see what the NFL's doing to honor him, and they keep honoring him, and the logos on the field and the Thanksgiving stuff, just tremendous.
Great man, great contribution, and great ambassador for the game. Adam
Schefter, go find your dog, enjoy some White Lotus, and
I got to go see if the dog has showed up here. Let's keep our fingers crossed, Colin. You just reminded me. I forgot. Honestly, I'm off the red eye. I can't think. I got some texts coming in, and the dog's missing, so I got to go see if he's got if we found Benny.
Good luck. Find Benny. Thanks for coming on as always, brother.
Thank you, Colin. Take care, my friend.
See you, buddy. The great Adam Schefter joins the show. Adam is just an absolute character. He is just hammered away on his phone, always dialed in on what's going on. He's the type of guy where you shoot him a text and he's sitting there, and he is, he's during the middle of the game and he's calling the game. And he's on his phone and boom, they shoot you a text back. He's just so dialed in. He's just a first-class guy, and he's been so good to us at the show, to pop on the show. This is his second or third time coming on right in the middle of the season, December 13th. So I appreciate Adam coming on the show. Guys, everything we do here at Not For Long Media is brought to you by our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. It is the holiday season. It is, the best time of year to get your friends, get your family, hook somebody up for a birthday, New Year's gift, people in your business. I know I'm going to get boxes of fudge for everybody in Carolina, coaches, players, staff, front office, hook them up with some fudge. It's the holidays. That's what you do. Get them something unique. Your coworkers, again, they ship it across the country. So it's super easy. Just go on the website, hook it up, get some fudge. No better sweet treat. Throwing some saltwater taffy there too. It's the absolute best. So a lot of really cool things that Adam got to talk about on the show. My interactions with Mike Leach, they've all been in Key West, Florida. One time we were outside of the where were we at having breakfast? Harpoons having breakfast, and he was rolling up Texas Tech polo tucked into his jeans. A roller bag. He just got into town and he was grabbing breakfast. I was kind of bummed. We were walking out of breakfast as he was coming in. I wanted to sit, pick his brain, introduce myself. We have a lot of kind of mutual friends. The other time I saw him walking down Duval Street and just kind of, just kind of yelled out with some buddies, said, "Coach Leach, huge fan." He just put his fist up and said, "Yeah, baby," or whatever. And the third time I saw him, Dana Holgerson, and Coach Sumlin, all just hanging out, having a good time, chomping it up. We just kind of happened to walk by him. And so I've seen him a bunch in Key West. I've heard stories about him down there. A buddy of mine, Connor, sent me an article today about how he was applied to be the head coach of Key West High School, the football team, the Conks down there. So that was a really cool story. Just awesome stuff, and an absolute legend, Coach. You'll be missed. Thank you for your contributions to this game of football lifer. From all accounts, I heard a great man, a great family man. So, thoughts and prayers go out to you, Coach, your family, and your friends during these trying times. So, guys, I want to talk about our friends over at Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should. Again, they've just been in our corner, Sydney and I, in our family's corner, business-wise, personally, what to invest in, what not to invest in. Is it time to buy a car? Should I buy the truck? Do I have the money to do this, do that? Okay. Do we need to move some money here? And it's going to be more of a long-term play, a short-term play, or, just something to get it started. When, I had $100 in my name and I gave him 50 of those 100 and said, "Okay, let's do it. I want to check the box that I'm giving you something and starting this process to, been blessed now to play in the NFL and be able to put some money away and, buy a house and kind of start, our life together." Me and Sydney and Wealth Advisory Services have been there the entire time. So again, check them out, guys. wealthadvisoryservices.com, a first-class way to manage your wealth. Guys, I want to talk about the bar of the week this week. Or let me go this. I'm going to go bus one. I'm going to start bus one. So we're going to have 3 bus one members this week. They're all going to run in a row, and they're all going to be all a part of the Carolina Panthers organization at one point in time, and they're not for whatever reason. And it's been really hard without them. I miss all 3 of these guys, and all 3 of these guys were kind of a part of the success that they were a part of the success that we are having now. They all have a hand in it, whether they're on the team or not anymore. The bus one members for this week are Baker Mayfield, Christian McCaffrey, and Coach Matt Rhule. So obviously we saw what Baker did the other day. It's just unbelievable. And I said it for those that were tuning in live and may have missed it. I said it earlier on the show. I'm not shocked at all what Baker did. Not one bit. And I know that's, if I would have told you before the game he's going to come in and ball out, I would have said, absolutely. I'm going to bet on that guy, because I've been able to be around him. His toughness, his grit, his confidence, his swagger, because how hard he works, especially on his mind. All the playbooks he's played in, from Texas Tech to Oklahoma to multiple coordinators in Cleveland to, what Coach McAdoo here, I think one of the really best offenses in the league when it comes to terminology, hard to learn, but once you get it, you can do a lot of things with it. To now he goes to Coach McVay, and some similarities there with Coach Mac does. So just incredible to be able to come in the game and operate like that with a 2-minute, 2-minute situation, and just absolutely light it up and lead the team, headbutt guys. I texted someone before the game that this was going to happen. I didn't say he was going to go lead the team on a 2-minute drill, but I said they're going to win. He's going to play really well, and he's going to be headbutting people in the end of the game. So it kind of made me happy to text someone and say, "I told you so." Another best one member this week, Cmac, 14 carries, 119 yards and a TD, 2 catches, 34 yards and a TD. Just affecting the team in so many different ways. He affects the team, an absolute leader, an absolute stud. Just the beginning for him and what they have going on in the Niners. Someone I've been fortunate enough to call a friend, a warrior, someone who's going to make that team better. A really good team in that, with a bunch of great leaders on it. So Jack for CMAC. And then our third and final former Carolina Panther, who's a bus one member this week, is Coach Matt Rhule. Just excited for him and his family to take that job in Nebraska. Excited for what they can do. All the former Temple, Baylor, Carolina Panthers, people along the way that Coach Rhule have been with are out there with him in Nebraska. So a great staff, a great group of people that are going to develop players the right way, on and off the field, sitting in the first 2 rows of the classroom, no hats in class, notebooks out, gallon water jug there with you to help with your recovery process. Just an absolute stud. an absolute stud, Coach Rhule, at developing people and players and coaches. They're going to be in great hands with just a wealth of knowledge from all levels of football, from pro to high school to college to recruiting. So best of luck to Coach Rhule, Nebraska staff. So jacked to follow you guys this year and the upcoming year. So Bus One members this week: Baker Mayfield, Chris McCaffrey, and Matt Rhule, all former Panthers that have gone on to do great things and really just continuing what we have going on here in Carolina, which is an unbelievable streak with Coach Wilkes and the staff of what being able to go on here. And I shouldn't say unbelievable, because this is what we expected the entire year. And this was the expectations of Coach Wilkes and the staff. So just jacked for what's going on, and all the guys that are having success, so well deserved, from our running back room to our JC Horn to our special teams guys. JJ Jansen should be Bus One member this week. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. He breaks the record of the most games played in Panthers history. So shout out to JJ Jansen as well. Just an absolute stud. An awesome trip to Seattle, a huge win for us. No shocker there. But I'm going to transition to the bar of the week this week, guys. Brought to you by me and Amiche, the best Italian food in the Charlotte area. We're not up on the lake anymore, so we're not going there as much. But I'm going to make the trip up to get up there and see Nick, see Kimmy, his wife, and the group, the family business that they have going on there. The best freaking Italian food in Charlotte. It's not far from us here. We're 20 minutes from it, so we're going to run up, grab a bite to eat. Utica greens, oh my God, the clams, the oyster, the clams and the mussels, and the red sauce is just ridiculous. The garlic bread's ridiculous. The salads are just gargantuan. You always get one the next day for lunch, and he always takes it for lunch. Everything's fresh and just delicious, and a great service. It's in a great area in Mooresville, and just absolutely love going to Me Amiche, the best Italian food in Charlotte. Guys, check out our friends over at SeatGeek. Going to a game. Punch that promo code Colin Thompson in, my full name, COLINTHOMPSON, Colin Thompson, for $20 off a ticket over $50. You got to love it. You got to love it. Go punch that in. Get $20 off. These tickets are ridiculous nowadays. So get a ticket for $30 instead of $50. Promo code Colin Thompson with SeatGeek. Okay, guys, the bar of the week this week, a unique one. I'm going to go with T-Mobile Park, where the Seattle Mariners play. That's the bar of the week this week. Brought to you by our friends over at Me Amiche. Listen, this place, I didn't go there. I didn't have a beer there. But we drove into the stadium on game day, T-Mobile Park, where the Seattle Mariners play. And you pass it, and you're going, to the kind of around the corner of the stadium. You're in a kind of a private lot at this point in time, and you can kind of peek into the ballpark. And you look up, and the Jumbotron's on with, I think, the Sunday ticket, or at least multiple games on, the huge Jumbotron at the Mariners game. It's on football, NFL Sunday football's on it. And you look in, and there's a bar in there packed, and there's people everywhere in the main concourse of Seattle game watching the game, playing cornhole, playing all these different things. And it's just become a tailgate. It's just become a tailgate. The T-Mobile Penn pregame party, $1 admission, beer on tap, including drafts and microbrews, happy hour pricing for the first hour, great food options available, pizza, all these different things, live music, multiple TVs, a safe, clean, and friendly environment for all ages. So the bar of the week this week is T-Mobile Park. Unbelievable. Food and ambiance. I mean, I don't know the food taste, but the ambiance is incredible. You walk right across the street to the Seahawks game. You're at the Mariners Stadium. You get to look at the field. You get to look at just the huge Jumbotron. So 5 out of 5. The TV's massive. That's a 5 out of 5. The place is packed, so that means the beer's cold. That's a 4 out of 5. And the service, Seattle, the people were awesome. The locals were awesome. Was able to get a bite to eat the night before the game. Service 4 out of 5. So 18 out of 20 for T-Mobile Park. And the T-Mobile Penn pregame party, the bar of the week this week at the Colin Thompson Show. So probably our most unique bar of the week this week. But hey, all shapes and sizes. That's what makes bars great. Okay, guys, shout out to our friends, Actions Over Words, actionsoverwordsapparel.com. Check them out. Shipping clothes all across the country. A local business in Cape May, Jersey that does really well, donating to charity of their choice a piece of what they are making on their product. They are passing forward. So again, Wealth Advisory Services, the original Fudge Kitchen, me, Amiche, SeatGeek, and our friends over Action of Their Words. And of course, last but not least, what I'll be taking tonight to get a great night's sleep to start the work week for us here in Carolina is a Som Sleep, guys. The best natural product ingredient to get a great night's sleep. Som Sleep. Get Som Sleep. Promo code Colin, Culin. Get 10% off package of 12. Guys, they're unbelievable, especially during the holidays. Kids, maybe have a night drinking. You're out, you're eating different. You're not on the same schedule, that regulated schedule. You have more off days. Som Sleep helps you stay on that schedule, keep it moving, get to bed, get up and rise and kick ass the next day. I'd like to thank Adam Schefter for coming on the show, a great friend of the show and someone who's really genuinely just a great human being. And I like having him come on our show. You get to see his personality a little bit more than you would on TV, where he's just reporting the news and doing his job. So Adam is a huge personality. He's a great guy. And again, takes the time out of his day to join our show. So that does it for another episode of the Colin Thompson Show. Go Panthers. Keep it roaring, baby. Keep pounding.